Wow, this is quite a room. Thank you for having me here. It is a particular honor to speak on this occasion, and also a bit of an intimidation. The honor arises from the fact that I speak at your invitation, and that pleases me, and I am deeply grateful to you. The intimidation arises from the nature of the event. Charged to the class is a little bit like a commencement address, and that's an opportunity for a person usually of advanced years, and that would include me, to say something wise and witty and inspiring, and as you will come to appreciate, above all, brief, to the vanguard of a younger generation which presumably finds itself in need of advice. Well, I honestly don't think you need much advice, and if you did, I would not feel qualified to give it. In my observation, you are not only extremely talented, but also extremely sensible. You're well on your way to becoming good lawyers. You understand the importance of human relationships. You understand the importance of personal responsibility. You believe in and practice the virtues of this community, which are include at least among them courtesy, civility, respect, consideration. You know how to work as members of a team where success depends on cooperating effectively with others. That stand you in good stead here and in everything else you do. From what I can see as well, you're responding with resourcefulness and optimism and equanimity to the challenge of this awful job market. It is the worst I've ever seen. In the 40 years I've been associated with the law school, no class, not even that of 2009, has gone through anything like what you collectively face. So I do not wish to be understood as standing here telling you how to deal with a situation that I never had to face. And in fact, that none of the previous graduates of the law school with whom I'm familiar have ever had to face. It is an unprecedented problem. For what it's worth, it's my confidence that things are beginning to turn. They will turn slowly. But it seems to me that we're headed in the right direction. So if you needed to know something about the intricacies of federal jurisdiction or the construction of I can see the enthusiasm mount. If you need to know something about the construction of a penal statute or best of all, qualified immunity in the law of 1983, I might be able to help. But for the larger questions of life, I don't feel qualified to speak. But I think I know someone who is. I want to draw your attention to Lillian BeVier. She is to my left, your right, and I'm going to talk about her for a little bit here. Lillian retires this year after 40 years in law teaching and 37 years on this faculty. A couple of weeks ago, a former student of mine, now a federal judge, was down showing his daughter UVA, giving the college tour. You'll find yourselves in that situation before you know it. And I mentioned that Lillian was going to retire, and Judge Gleason went into a little rhapsodic venture about what a wonderful teacher she was, the best he ever had, etc. I winced a little bit. He had me for 3 classes and worked as my student assistant, but I can't quarrel with his judgment. I'm not going to speak, however, of Lillian's 40 years of dedication to the classroom, not because it's unimportant. On the contrary, the first duty of a teacher is to teach, and it's the most important thing we do. But I'm not going to say much about that, and I'm not going to say much about Lillian's prodigious scholarship. She has a list of articles as long as your arm, a lot of them about campaign finance, topic on which she's a national star, but also a variety of other First Amendment issues and questions of intellectual property as well. Scholarship is also important to those of us on the faculty, but like teaching, it's part of the job. I mean, excellence and dedication in doing one's job are completely admirable qualities. But in a sense, they're what's expected. They're commitments that all of us should have at least all of us should strive for in our working lives. That Lillian is better than most of us at these activities is praiseworthy, but it's not really what sets her apart. What is distinctive about her, and what I want to call to your attention, is her engagement, her participation, her sense of personal responsibility for the communities of which she's a part. May I repeat that last phrase? It's as close as I've been able to come to what I want to identify. It's that conviction, ultimately, it's a moral conviction, of a sense of personal responsibility for the strength, the success, the happiness, the welfare of the various communities of which one is a member. And in thousands of ways that are unexpected, unrequired, uncompensated, and often unremarked, Lillian BeVier has made your lives, my life, and that of many of your predecessors better. Let me start by giving you some flavor of her activities outside the law school. She has led alumni associations for Smith College and Stanford Law School. She has been a recidivist officer of the Venable Elementary School Parent Teachers Association and a volunteer reading tutor at that institution. She sat on various boards and committees. I won't name them for you. There are a lot, most recently including the Board of Trustees of the Legal Services Corporation. And she served on the boards of a lot of private organizations and foundations that represent her particular concerns and commitments. They include the Center for Individual Rights, the Atlantic Legal Foundation, the Independent Women's Forum, Virginia Institute for Public Policy, Piedmont CASA, which stands for Court Appointed Special Advisors, and the Federalist Society, for which she's going across the country and giving speeches. And now for the big stuff. For the 10 years, Lillian has been on the Board of Trustees of the Law School Foundation. For 10 years, including a stint as chair, she was on the board of St. Anne's Belfield School. And since 1991, has been involved in a variety of leadership positions with Martha Jefferson Hospital and the Martha Jefferson Health Services Corporation. These are not honorary positions where you have your picture taken and go to a couple of black tie dinners. These are major commitments. Take Martha Jefferson. Lillian served on the Board of Trustees from 1995 to 2003, including service as chair of that board. And then she switched to the Board of Directors of the Martha Jefferson Health Center, which focuses less on the financial and corporate aspects and more on the delivery of health care. And in that capacity, she has, among other things, chaired task forces on hospital-based radiation and anesthesiology and another on cardiology. These are difficult and, to a degree, adversarial negotiations between a regional hospital and the outside groups of doctors who are going to perform certain hospital-based services. Nothing ceremonial or honorary about this work. It involves lots of 7 a.m. meetings, lots of time and study, ultimately some difficult negotiation. It's the sort of thing lawyers do for paying clients. And Lillian did it, still does it, for free, out of concern for the health care of this community. Now, the resume items I'm describing here don't really do justice to the topic. As impressive as these positions are, they don't, anything that focuses on positions and titles doesn't really capture Lillian. What is special in my experience about her are the small acts of generosity and kindness and hospitality that create out of diverse individuals a community. How many hundreds, indeed over the years, how many thousands of Virginia Law School students have been in her home? Every year she invites the law review. They come for a barbecue, and that year that that week they come back early before the rest of us. No one asked her to do that, she just does it. She has events in her home for the women in the Federalist Society. Nobody asked her to do that. I doubt anyone would have thought to do that. She just saw the opportunity and volunteered. She has a dinner every year for the Supreme Court clerks who return here to talk to admitted students. She has dinners for PILO winners and for the students in her seminars, and for all sorts of student groups who have a guest speaker and need a place to entertain. Lillian has likely entertained more students in her home than anyone in the history of the law school. And though hospitality may sound like a small thing, it is not. Every act of hospitality, every act of participation in a student event, every assistance to a student organization, every gift of time or energy or concern to you or your colleagues or the activities in which you're engaged, that's a small thread that binds us together. And without that human fabric, law school would be a dreadful experience. That fabric has to be rewoven, as it were, by every successive generation of students and faculty who teach their successors as you have taught each others and as you have taught the classes behind you what it means to be part of the law school community. And in that, Lillian BeVier is the greatest teacher of them all. Now, just one more point, and this is a point in which Lillian, if she were able to use this mic, would, I think, insist. Lillian's 37 years here were not years of sacrifice or denial or self-abnegation. They were years of joy. She gained by giving. Her countless acts of participation and generosity and commitment and kindness were wise choices about how to live. Creating is more fun than complaining and more rewarding too. You, of course, will want to create your own communities. You'll want to choose your own involvements. You'll decide for yourselves to what, more accurately, to whom you wish to commit. Your commitments will differ from Lillian's, and they will differ from each other's. You will pursue a wide variety of interests and causes and institutions and affiliations. I'm not speaking of the substance of those activities. I'm speaking, as I guess maybe I promised I wouldn't, about how to live. And here is the lesson taught by Lillian BeVier and my hope for you. If you join in, if you participate, contribute, and engage, if you invest of yourselves in the people around you, if you cultivate that sense of personal responsibility for the communities of which you are part, you will be happy and you will be loved. Good luck.